Hello. What's up, guys? So today I woke up pretty late. Didn't really sleep that well last night. Let's see. This is pretty funny. I woke up, I got coffee to go on a drive to get more coffee. So yeah, because there's this really good coffee place like 30 minutes away from me, so I drove out there, but first I needed to like have something to drink on the drive there. So yeah, I'm at the park right now. It's a really nice day outside. You can see it's really pretty. I really want to get more comfortable just filming outside like this because it's nicer than being, well, you know, I don't mind being in the van, but I like being outside better. Yeah. So anyways, I'll actually get into what I want to talk about because I always just start rambling. But what was on my mind as I was driving today was just kind of like what I went through as a kid, growing up in a Christian church, and kind of what I saw about that turned me away from like religion and from God for a long time. And one of the main things I didn't like that I would see growing up was that the people in the church, and including my parents, including my family, they were very judgmental about anyone who didn't share the exact same beliefs as them. Anyone who, for instance, did drugs, drank alcohol. I mean, even some people, like if you dress a certain way or have tattoos. What else? Anything sexual, that was a big no-no. Masturbation was off the table. Sex before marriage, that is basically like the worst thing you could possibly do. What else? Yeah, I'd say honestly that bothered me a lot too. And people's bodies, like if you're a woman and you are showing any skin, too much skin, then you just look down upon if you do that. Which, God, like this one time, so I had family in Texas, and of course the people there are even more strictly religious than maybe where I lived. So I'm visiting my cousins and we're going to like a water park, and I remember, you know, you're going to a water park, you wear a swimsuit, right? So I'm wearing my swimsuit and I have like a t-shirt and some shorts on or something, and we get to the water park and the people that we're with tell me that I'm not allowed to take my t-shirt off because my swimsuit's not appropriate and she doesn't want her sons to see me, which is fucking ridiculous if you think about it, because, you know, you're at a water park, like everyone and their mom is wearing a swimsuit, right? So that was pretty ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know why, but especially anything with sex, that was like the worst thing you could possibly talk about or be associated with. There was a lot of people, I feel like, were ashamed of themselves if they, you know, had a more sexually promiscuous life before they became Christian, or if they even made a small mistake with that kind of stuff. Like, people would talk about it sometimes and they would have so much guilt and shame around it, and it was really sad to see that. You know, because obviously there's an ideal way of living, but it's like, we're human. If we don't measure up to these things, we don't need to be, you know, carrying around shame and guilt and like, you know, living in the past and whatever we think our mistakes are. But like, I believe they had that much shame and guilt because sexuality was so frowned upon. Yeah, and so, I don't know, I just see, sorry I keep getting so distracted, there's just like bugs floating around everywhere. But I guess what I wanted to compare this to is that I see the same thing happening with just, I don't know how to categorize these people, like people who are not in an organized religion, but they believe in God, they believe in a higher power, you know, they're into spirituality and, you know, meditation, yoga, all these different types of things. I see the same thing happening sometimes where people act like they're perfect, or they act, you know, I don't know, just like holier than thou, like I'm so above the rest of humanity, you know, that kind of thing. And I feel like that's a huge downfall, because where the Christian religion went wrong, and where a lot of religions go wrong in my opinion, is that, shit, one second, my camera keeps not adjusting, there we go. Where was I? So I feel like where a lot of the organized religions go wrong is that, you know, their core belief is very pure and very righteous, you could say, you know, the belief of loving each other, loving yourself, loving God. That's great, you know, but I believe in all those religions, it gets very distorted because, you know, if you're judging anyone, like, I don't care if they're a freaking porn star and they get high every weekend and, you know, have all these unresolved traumas and toxic behaviors and all this stuff. Like, if you can't have compassion and empathy for that person, and if you can't see from that person's perspective and love them anyways, and I'm not talking like the kind of love like, oh, you know, I feel so bad for that person, like, you know, like, kind of like looking down upon them, like, oh, I'll pray for them and hope that, you know, they get onto a better path. You know, I don't know if you can tell, but there's still kind of a judgment in that. It's not a total acceptance of that person. It's like, you know, I may not be Christian, but Jesus in the Bible, you know, he hung out with everyone. He didn't discriminate and say, you know, I'm not gonna hang out with this person because they're not at the highest vibration, and you know what I mean? Like, everyone deserves love regardless of their actions. Wait, what the fuck is that? Oh, it's a roly-poly. Sorry. But basically what I'm trying to say is, if you're judging them in any kind of way and thinking you're better than them, then basically that's just as low of a vibration as it would be if you were doing the same things they were doing, whatever you're judging them for. Like, they're both low vibrational energies. You know, and obviously we all want to be on a higher path, because, you know, what happens is the higher vibration is, the higher type of things you're gonna invite into your life, and you're probably gonna have a lot more experiences filled with joy and peace and love and all that good stuff, because you're matching that, you know? And it's like, these people that may be at a lower vibrational state, like, they don't need your judgment, they don't need you to feel bad for them, because, you know what, like, the way this universe works, if they're at that frequency, like a lower vibrational frequency, they're going to be struggling. Life's going to be reflecting that back to them so that they can learn from it and grow. And so, you know, eventually, I mean, hopefully, you know, you learn your lesson and you stop doing those things and you move on to something that's better for you. And, you know, but it's like we've all been in that place of making bad decisions for ourselves and, you know, being less than our highest potential. And yeah, I don't know, I feel like even some of you guys, I don't know, some people might have a perception of me like I, you know, just sit around and meditate all day and think only kind, loving thoughts all the time, and, you know, have no ego, and just am like in touch with God and myself and all this stuff. And like, you know, sometimes I am, but a lot of times I'm, you know, in my ego, like, you know, doing things I know aren't good for me. Just, you know, being a human, really. And it's like, I'm not gonna feel guilty for doing those things. You know, I'm gonna take account the things I do and, you know, work every day to be better. But, you know, I'm never gonna tell myself, you know, oh, like, you can never have a drink ever again. You can never do drugs. You can never, you know, have sex outside of marriage. You know, like, anything can be in a lower vibrational frequency or a higher one. It's all about your intention when you're using these things. 'Cause, you know, like, you can have a freaking glass of wine and enjoy yourself and be present, and like, that's not, I don't personally see that as a bad thing. And even, man, this goes even deeper, because like, as humans, like, really there's nothing bad or evil here. It's that we interpret things that way because there's been so much conditioning that these things exist. And yes, like I said, there's lower vibrational things and higher vibrational things, but we're the ones who label it as bad or evil, you know? So, I don't know, like, it's okay to have some fun sometimes. It's okay to not, you know, don't be so strict on yourself that you burn out and like you're trying to meditate 5 hours every day, and, you know, I don't know, just like remember that we're all human, you know, like, we're all gonna go through shit that's not ideal, and let's just not judge ourselves for it, and let's not act like we're perfect. And yeah, I don't know, I think another thing I really dislike is, you know, people think that if you're spiritual, or, you know, like the most spiritual people, like, they're gonna dress a certain way, they're gonna eat a certain way, they're gonna talk a certain way, they're not gonna swear. Like, that's all bullshit, you know? Like, I'm sorry, but I just don't, I feel like people need to be more open about their real lives on social media and not just showing the perfect aspects. And yeah, I think that's all I really have to say. I mean, I'm not saying don't be picky about who's around you and just like invite all of that lower shit into your life. Like, the main message I'm just trying to say is just to not judge yourself and not to judge others. you know, because there's a reason for everything on this planet, and everything's perfect the way it is, you know. There's a balance between the lower things and the higher things, and like I said, when you're in a lower part of your journey, like, you're gonna learn a lot, and without that stuff you wouldn't become who you are today. So, you know, just respect people's journeys and lives, and don't push what you think is spiritual onto other people. Okay, I think I'm done ranting. I hope you all are having a beautiful day. I'm having a great day. I haven't done much today, but I just feel very, like, I don't know, the air feels very peaceful today or something. And when I walked to this park, actually, there was a guy sitting kind of close to me meditating, and I think that's the first person I've ever seen here meditating, so that was cool. Yeah. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. Goodbye. I'm gonna add to that, just, you know what makes you really spiritual, or what makes you the closest to God and being at your highest potential, is really the most simple stuff, you know. People get so caught up in details and, you know, looking at everyone else instead of looking at themselves. And it's like, as long as you're following love and you're following your intuition, instead of living in fear and judgment, like, you're good. You know, it's that simple, you know, because, you know, love, peace, joy, all that shit everyone wants, those things go hand in hand, you know. I don't know, we overcomplicate things so much as humans. Like, it's so simple. And I don't know, I feel like even a lot of people, they don't know what love really is. And so if you don't feel like you know what love is, like, figure that out first. Just get in touch with what that means for you, what it means to love other people and to love yourself.